Title: The Relentless Rewind. In the quaint town of Eldridge Hollow, nestled between dense forests and restless hills, time danced to a different tune. For most, the days drifted peacefully, but for Lily Anders, everything changed when she turned 16. It began on an unassuming Saturday morning. The air was crisp and carried the scent of autumn leaves. Lily, excited for her birthday party planned for the evening, decided to take a stroll down to the old mill where her friends often gathered. A bit of history interested her. The mill had been abandoned for decades, yet stories of its haunted past always sent shivers down her spine. As she approached the mill, she noticed something odd. The door, which had been tightly boarded up, now stood slightly ajar. Curiosity pulled her closer. The cool breeze whispered through the cracks, fueling her intrigue. After a moment's hesitation, she stepped inside. The interior was dark and musty, filled with remnants of the past, rusted machinery, scattered debris, and dusty wooden beams. But the strangest sight was a large, ornate hourglass sitting atop an old table. It shimmered mysteriously, its sand flowing in a curious manner, each grain appearing to float rather than fall. Lily felt an uncanny sensation wash over her. She reached out, and as her fingers brushed the hourglass, a whirlwind of shadows consumed the room. The world around her spun, a cacophony of whispers filling her ears. "You shouldn't have touched it," echoed voices she didn't recognize. In a blink, the room went dark. When the light returned, everything felt eerily similar yet decidedly different. Confused, Lily checked her watch. The hands were frozen at 10:15 a.m. She rushed to the door and stepped outside, only to find the same crisp air, the same rustling leaves. And the same day, her birthday, stretched out before her. "Lily, are you okay?" a voice called. It was her best friend, Sarah, running toward her. "What? How? What time is it?" "Just after 10. You scared us. We thought you'd be late for the party." Lily's heart raced. It hadn't been a dream. A fog of dread clung to her. The grind of the day unfolded much like any other, filled with laughter, gifts, and cake. Yet, as the sun began to set, a faint sense of foreboding gnawed away at the edges of her joy. That night, amid the throes of fun, she counted down to midnight, waiting to see if everything would change. When the clock chimed 12, however, instead of celebrating the arrival of her 17th year, the lights flickered, and the room went dark. Panic swept through the crowd, and a strange hush fell over them. Despite the chaos, Lily felt drawn to the hourglass again, the shadows of the mill creeping back into her mind like a dark wave. As the lights returned, she found herself standing in front of the mill, the door ajar once more. Panic clawed at her throat as she realized what had happened. The day was repeating. Here she was again, trapped in the same cycle, her birthday stuck on a relentless loop, anchored by that mystifying hourglass. Desperate to break free from this nightmarish cycle, Lily decided she needed to confront whatever magic held her captive. She returned to the mill the next day, hoping to find a solution. The hourglass still stood, its sand still glimmering ominously. She reached out again, her heart pounding, and yelled, "Let me go." The shadows surged around her like a tempest, and she felt herself falling through time. A sense of weightlessness enveloped her. When she landed, the mill was different, faded, and aged. The air smelled of decay. Her stomach lurched. She wasn't at the party. She was at the mill's last day of operation, watching the workers abandon it, the laughter replaced by an echoing silence. She ran through the forest, heart pounding. Each step felt like a fight against time itself, but the woods were thick with fog, disorienting her. Eventually, she stumbled upon an old woman sitting on a log. The woman, with wild gray hair and piercing blue eyes, regarded Lily with a knowing look, as if she had been waiting for her. "You've meddled with time, child," she said, her voice a whisper soaked with wisdom and warning. "The hourglass is a portal, and you must pay its price if you wish to escape." Desperate, Lily asked, "What do I have to do?" The old woman held out a small, rusted key. "Retrieve the lost grain of sand from the hourglass. Only it can unlock your freedom." Lily felt a surge of determination. She raced back to the mill, braving the shadows that threatened to consume her. Once inside, she clutched the hourglass and poured her heart into it, ready to fight through the darkness. The air grew thick and restless as she reached inside, her fingers trembling. Finally, she grasped the single grain of sand. As soon as she did, the shadows shrieked and writhed, and the hourglass shattered into thousands of glimmering shards. Light flooded the room, enveloping her with warmth. With a final surge of energy, she felt the weight of time release its grip. The world around her shifted, brightened, and she was thrown forward into the sweet scent of life, a whirl of vibrant colors swirling around her. When she opened her eyes again, it was sunny, and she was in her bedroom. Relief washed over her, but fear lingered at the back of her mind. She glanced at her clock. The day had passed, at last, no longer trapped in time. Yet, as Lily prepared for another birthday celebration, she couldn't shake the feeling that the shadows were still watching, a reminder that time was not easily escaped. In the heart of Eldridge Hollow, secrets run deep, and time, once disturbed, may always come back to haunt.